So this is Self-Reliance from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And you get a little bit of background information here in the textbook, right? It says that individuality, independence, and an appreciation for the wonders of nature are just a few of the principles that Ralph Waldo Emerson helped to instill in our nation's identity. His essay, Self-Reliance, grew out of a series of lectures that he conducted in the 1830s. There is a time in every man's education when he arrives at the conviction that envy is ignorance, and that imitation is suicide, that he must take himself for better, for worse, as his portion, that though the wide universe is full of good, no kernel of nourishing corn can come to him but through his toil bestowed on that plot of corn, that plot of ground which is given to him to till. So what he's saying here basically is this idea that nothing good can come of you from trying to copy somebody else. You have to be yourself. Nothing good can come copying others. Be yourself. The power which resides in him is new in nature, and none but he knows what that is, which he can do, nor does he know until he has tried. So basically, like whatever you are capable of, only you are capable of, and you don't know what you're capable of until you've tried it. It's pretty inspirational, really. So the idea here is you are unique. Not for nothing one face, one character, one fact makes much impression on him, and another none. This sculpture is in the memory is not without pre-established harmony. The eye was placed where one ray should fall, that it might testify of that particular ray. We but half express ourselves and are ashamed of that divine idea which each of us represents. So essentially here he's talking about your uniqueness as an individual, and that sometimes we are afraid to project that uniqueness, right? Sometimes ashamed of that. It may be safely trusted as proportionate and of good issues, so it be faithfully imparted. But God will not have his work made manifest by cowards. A man is relieved and gay when he has put his heart into his work and done his best. But what he has said or done otherwise shall give him no peace. So according to Emerson, you're only happy when you have done your best. It is a deliverance which does not deliver. In the attempt, his genius deserts him. No muse befriends, no invention, no hope. Basically, if you don't try and do your best, then like you're not going to be successful. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't try hard, you won't do well. If you do try, you will do well. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Accept the place the divine providence has found for you, the society of your contemporaries, the connection of events. Great men have always done so and confided themselves childlike to the genius of their age, betraying their perception that the absolutely trustworthy has stirring at their heart, working through their hands, predominating in all their being. And we are now men, and must accept in the highest mind the same transcendent destiny, and not minors and invalids in a protected corner, but guides, redeemers, and benefactors, obeying the almighty effort and advancing on chaos and the dark. So essentially, he's talking about this sort of legacy, right? There are great men of the past, but now he and his contemporaries, they are those great men. And then if you follow that out, then we now, right? We are the ones who must lead in the way that they did then. This is a generational thing that goes on and on. Society everywhere is in conspiracy against the manhood of every one of its members. Society is a joint stock company in which the members agree for the better securing of his bread to each shareholder to surrender the liberty and the culture of the eater. Not a fan of society, right? And when he talks about society, he means like, everybody else or the general sort of machine of the man, you could say. Since that's not going to lead you to success because it's going to tell you not to be an individual. The virtue in most request is conformity. Self-reliance is its aversion. It loves not realities and creators, but names and customs. The society is anti-individual, according to Emerson. It wants you to conform, right? It loves names and customs, right? Things that have been before and continue on. But according to Emerson, that's not desirable. Whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist. And this is one of those frequently quoted portions of this essay. He who would gather immortal palms must not be hindered by the names of goodness, but must explore if it be goodness. Like if you're looking for good things, you can't rely on what other people tell you. You have to find it. Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind. Absolve you to yourself, and you shall have the suffrage of the world. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Another famous quote from this essay. Basically, this idea that by being predictable, that you are then somehow falling into this trap of not achieving your full possibility. So it is undesirable to be predictable. That word hobgoblin, that's an excellent word that he uses there, right? So this idea that it eats away at you. Foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, adored by little statesmen and philosophers and divines. With consistency, a great soul has simply nothing to do. He may as well concern himself with his shadow on the wall. Speak what you will think now in hard words, and tomorrow speak what tomorrow thinks in hard words again, though it contradict everything you said today. So he's not worried about contradicting himself. So say what you think right now. Don't worry about tomorrow. Live in the now. Live in the present. So you shall be sure to be misunderstood. Is it so bad, then, to be misunderstood? Pythagoras was misunderstood, and Socrates, and Jesus, and Luther, and Copernicus, and Galileo, and Newton, and every pure and wise spirit that ever took flesh. To be great is to be misunderstood. Again, this last part here, pretty commonly quoted portion of this essay, right? For him to say that it's not so bad to be misunderstood. All of these other great thinkers before us have been misunderstood. So that's all right. Do that too. All right. So that's your little take there on self-reliance. Thanks, you guys.